Hey guys, it's Josh Rossi. Today what I'm going to be showing you how to do is how to cut hair and then how to put it back on, how to...
Little baby cat so high, so fly, floating through the air, no cares in the sky. And I wonder what the little kitty thinking in the brain flying.
What we're going to be focusing on in this tutorial is cutting out a guy's hair in a couple different scenarios. The first one will be this sort of spiky hair shot on a white background, and then the second one will be this sort of wavy hair shot on a darker background, which makes it a little bit harder to cut out, but we're going to go over a few different techniques that I use. This is probably the best situation right here where you shot the model on white, and the background is pretty much white and just really bright. So this is the best scenario. What you want to do, once you have the guy cut out, I usually leave the hair for last. I will go to my lasso tool, so hit L on the keyboard, and just select the hair like this. You don't want to select any white, just select on the inside of the hair, and then connect, just like that. Then what I want to do is go to the Refine Edge tool. Before I do that though, I want to go Shift Command I, which will invert the selection, and then you want to go to your Refine Edge tool. So once you're here, what you're going to be using is, over in this little square, it's the Refine Radius tool. Make sure that the Smart Radius is clicked, and then I'm usually going to a 0 pixel radius. And all you want to do now is just paint in those stray hairs. So you can see there, it's just grabbing everything that's on the outside of that selection. So just like that. You don't want to grab too much, just a little bit. And then there you go. There's your selection. So it's selected out all of the white, and it's looking pretty good. All you do now is just hit OK, and then you have to invert this again, because if you go delete, it's going to delete the guy. So just Shift Command I once again to delete the hair. Okay, perfect. So that is the best scenario and the easiest way to cut out a guy's hair. And you can see here, same thing, and it caught all of these awesome little stray hairs over here. So that is the easiest situation. Now, it gets a little bit harder if you place your model into a different background that is darker. So let me show you here. If you place this guy into a darker situation, it's going to have some haloing around his hair. You don't notice that because it's obviously on this really bright background, but when it's darker, that's what it's going to look like. To fix that, what I usually do is I will go around with my eraser tool, and I'm at opacity 100%, and I'm at a really soft edge brush. And what I usually do is go around and erase that halo. So when you do that, you don't want to cut off too much of the hair. You want to get as close as you can, but you want it to still look good. So I'm just going to show you how to fix this really quickly. So let's say once you get rid of, a good amount of the halos, and you're starting to like it, your image might look something like this. See the difference between that hair and that hair? That hair, it's looking really nice, obviously. This one is where we've cut out all the halos. And if we're going to place it onto a black or a darker background, it's going to look like that. So to fix that, I'm going to show you how to add hair, because we're going to need to add some hair in those areas. So for this technique, let me show you on this guy right here that has the wavy hair with the dark background. So what I'll usually do on this, let me show you the technique that we used previously, which is selecting the guy's hair and using the Refine Edge tool. So this isn't going to work as well just because the hair and the background match up. The darkness isn't, there's not much contrast there. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing I did before and delete, and it obviously looks really bad and weird right there. So what we're going to do for this instead is I'm going to go to my pen tool and just follow his hair, just like this. Just cut out his hair manually. And this isn't going to look too good after, but we'll make it look really good in the end, because it's kind of going to look like a helmet, and I'm going to show you in 1 second. So anyway, I already went around this, but that's pretty much what you do, is you just follow this and cut out his hair. And I've already done this right here. So you can see that his hair, it's looking like a helmet. And what you want to do now is add some texture in here so it looks like he actually has some hair. And over here in this final image, it's really feathered and it looks really nice, you know. So what you're going to do is go to your eraser tool, and you can pick pretty much any erase or any brush that has sort of a jagged edge or something. In this case, it really doesn't matter. What I'm going to be doing is using this sort of plant right here, which is, you're probably asking why the heck's he using a plant, but it adds some nice, you know, texture around the hair. And you kind of want to vary this so it's not like all even everywhere, all these even lines. So what I usually do is I might erase around his hair like that and see there's some weird edges. And then I'll pick a different brush. And like I said, it doesn't matter which brush you pick as long as it has some good texture to it. So let me show you here. I'm going to pick a tree brush. This one. It's a pine tree. Totally odd, I know. But if you see here, it's adding some really nice texture and it's erasing all those little lines that makes it look so uniform and perfect. So anyway, something like that should be fine. That looks good. And you're going to be doing the same thing on the other side. And I'm still using this pine tree brush. You know, I just made it really small and whatnot. Okay. You can make it even smaller to make it more of a smooth, refined edge. Alright, so now we're going to get to the part of actually adding hair to this guy, because that's the main important part that we want to focus on. So what you do for this is go to your clone stamp tool, which is right over here, and you want to go to a hairbrush. Now these brushes have to be pretty specific, and you can find them on compositeplanet.com or any other site that sells brushes. This is a pretty common brush. So you want to go to the brush, or the one that I'm going to use is this brush that goes up and down right here. Okay, and easy way to make your brush smaller and bigger is just the left and right bracket keys on the top right of your keyboard. The other thing we're going to be using is this. Go to Window and Brush. And now you want to turn the brush because it's not facing the right direction. What we want to do is add some hair. Let me show you. We want to add some hair going in this direction so that it will look like he has some stray hairs coming all over there. So when you go, you have this little window open. You want to turn this circle, and you can see the bottom here, it's turning the direction. So I'm going to get this direction just right there. Okay. So now that you have the brush in the right direction, you need to create a blank layer underneath. This is usually what I do, and call it hair. And you are going to clone from the top here and then paint underneath. So for that, what you want to do is clone as close as you can to the edge of his hair as possible, because you want to match the color as much as you can. So hit Option or Alt and click around there, and then I'm going to go to my hair layer and just click, something like that. See, and that's already creating a nice, just stray hair right there. Then you can also do the same thing maybe over here, create some small stray hairs, and then I'm going to turn my brush a little bit more and make it a little bit smaller, and then I want to clone from here again and go underneath and maybe paint just a little bit like that. And then I can do the same thing, just turn my brush a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. And then once again, go to the top layer, clone from there, and click. And you can see these awesome stray hairs. Okay. Another thing about painting in hair is that you don't want to make it look like you're using the same brush the whole time. You can see here that I did use the same brush the whole time, but that each hair looks a little bit different because I switched the direction and also the size and everything. You could technically use a different brush if you'd like. I just prefer that one. See, there's many hair brushes. These over here are more for women, and some of these are for women as well, but sometimes they work with men. In this case, they probably wouldn't work so well. Anyway, there you go. That is how you can paint in hair to make it look really good with the background. And remember, we're erasing a lot, and cutting out hair isn't the easiest thing, but it'll make an image look really nice and stand out. You can see here the before and after. It's looking kind of like a helmet, and then just with a few tiny tweaks, it's matching up really well with the background. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and check out some of my other tutorials and free products on compositeplanet.com, and I'll see you again soon.